Today I am challenging myself to build a LEGO Droid Base in 7 days. Chock full of detail and a massive new droid army to go with it, in which I'm actually going to be giving some away, so stick around and find out how you can get them. Now, can I complete it in time? Well, let's begin. Now, building LEGO clone bases was and is right now a big thing in the LEGO Star Wars community, but this time I'm putting my own spin on it and I'm building my own LEGO Droid Base. Because the CIS desperately needs some representation, so I'm gonna do that today. Now, when I was thinking of what a droid base will actually look like in the Star Wars universe, I was like, duh, we obviously see the biggest droid base ever in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones on Geonosis. Now, Geonosis is one of my favorite battles in all of Star Wars, and particularly I love the planet with its unique color scheme being like dark orange, medium nougat kind of colors, really giving a nice, bright, unique color. With all sorts of different deserts and cliffs, you really get some nice, unique shapes and those awesome droid spires. So when looking for inspiration, I actually am a big Star Wars Battlefront 2 player, and I was playing Heroes versus Villains, or Hero Showdown, on the Geonosis map, and as you can see from these images, you have like this big droid hangar engraved into the mountain, and I always thought that was super cool and gave me inspiration for what I want to build for my droid base. Now, day one, the first thing I did was pull out my abundance of yellow 16x16 plate to get a layout of how big I want this droid base to be. The reason I'm building it this way instead of regular base plates is because I plan on making it even bigger and adding different sections to it of my Geonosis MOC, so I need to make it modular so I can put it anywhere I please. After getting the size and basic shape of the MOC, I started to build out the droid hangar section that will be etched in the mountain. The majority of the base will be in dark bluish gray and will have bits of dark orange and medium nougat accents to give it a bit of a weathered look. I try to give the bottom floor a bit of variation with different grids to try and replicate what we see in Battlefront 2. Overall, I'm really pleased with how the base floor is going so far, but I think we need to get a design for the hangar doors now. I built the hangar doors sideways to capture more details, including the stripe of dark tan that flows through the bottom of the door and adds a bit of greebling. I thought this was a really cool effect of the door that you might not see if you don't look at too closely in the Geonosis map. Now, this is definitely a big challenge building it this way, but it was definitely worth it. Now, with one half of the hangar door completed and a basic layout of the base, that completes day one. Day two began with me building the other half of the door. That way I can open and close it to let out the massive droid army. Overall, super happy with that droid base door and the overall look of it, but now it's time to begin to build up the base walls, and in doing so, I didn't want to be all plain gray, just bricks. I added a ton of dirt and sand that's been stuck in the walls after years of building up the droid army inside. I assume like there's gonna be tons of dirt everywhere. At least the outside part of it's kind of rusting a little bit. And after completing most of the left side of the wall, I wanted to begin the rockwork / mountain portion of the build that I will go around the droid base. I built a small portion of what the rockwork will look like using this dark orange, medium nougat, and bits of dark tan to give it a variety of color. This will be the same exact technique I use for my massive Utapau MOC, which is 5 base plates of rockwork that I've already completed and we'll probably complete later on down the line, but I will get back to that MOC later on. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. I feel like this is the superior way to build any mountain face because the amount of detail you can add. But I know I'll be needing a lot more parts, so I headed to my local bricks and minifigs, about located 45 minutes away from me, and I went to their random parts bin and collected every single one of their dark orange and medium nougat bricks, which took me a while to find, but definitely was fun to find every single little bit of unique parts that could really help my Geonosis MOC. Now that I have a lot of extra great parts, let's head back home to build. So I began placing the rock portion down to see exactly how it would fit into the build, and then added another layer on top. To be able to continue to build the rest of the rockwork, I actually laid down the desert terrain section of Geonosis as the floor kind of goes all the way through the bottom section of the MOC, and also made a big custom plate that fits on the side of the remaining space for the rockwork. And after a bit of building, I finished the mountain face for this section. I'm truly loving how this looks so far with a variety of rock detail. The next day, I began to finish up the bottom terrain and start to build the top of the mountain, in which I want to mix in perfectly with the rock portions. Then I began to lay out how big I wanted the roof portion of the build to be and started to get the deserty terrain on the top. This is some of my favorite things to do with building in LEGO. I love the challenge of making something that is natural looking but not exactly perfect. And as you can see here, I built just the beginning of some of the Geonosis spires that I want to add at the top to get some of the iconic landscapes of Geonosis. I began different prototypes of how I wanted to build the larger portions of the spires, in which some worked and some didn't due to them being way too fragile. But with that being said, that's it for day 3. Now on day 4, I woke up to something that I've been waiting for a long time in anticipation. You can't build a droid base without a droid army. So I ordered 110 of Clone Army Customs' new battle droids. And let me tell y'all, they're absolutely perfect. You can move their arms, their legs, and make some incredible action poses that you can't do with the LEGO battle droids. As well as they come with a movie accurate backpack and blaster. I got the sand red variant since it's accurate to what we see in Attack of the Clones. And because the sand red variant of the LEGO battle droid is just absolutely absurd in price nowadays, so getting these new custom sand red battle droids was absolutely a winner. I began to place them all on base plates, and wow, these sand red battle droids look even better in large formations. And I'll definitely be putting these droids into the droid base when I'm completed with this build. Now, and if you want one of these new Clone Army Custom Sand Red battle droids, I'm actually gonna be giving one of these away. And all you have to do is like the video, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what was your favorite part of the Battle Geonosis and what I should maybe build next to add on to this Geonosis series. Now my goal for day 5 was to totally complete the top roof rock portion of the build. Now I was trying to give it different varieties of heights and different areas where the droid spires would go to make this an interesting top battlefield, since this is where I want to place a bunch of clone troopers and droids engaging on top of here. And after finishing up all the rock work on top, I'm extremely pleased with how this looks on the top, as well as my first attempt ever for the Geonosis spires. So that will complete day 5. For day 6, I've decided it's time to go back and finish the droid base side wall section of the build. Now this section is going to be a little bit less detailed with the dark orange going all the way across, but it should be exactly the same with different grids and panels going across, which I'm extremely pleased with as well. As you can see, I have a bit of the door there with the light shining through. I thought that looked super sweet. But there is the completed droid kind of hangar base door. Now with that completed, it's time to put on the roof section, which was I'm very worried about putting on that large roof section. And then we needed to finish up the final bit of the rock details. Now I made a very long strip here that's going to be completing the rock work, just going all the way across and fits nicely and perfectly into the rocks, making it really feel like it's etched into the build. As well as we need to finish the right side of the rock work. So I just went through and added a bunch of dark orange on the same plate technique, and that completes day 6. Now we've made it to the final and probably the most important day of completing a mock, adding all the vehicles and minifigures. I decided to add a giant dwarf spider droid right here, all the battle droids, even some clone captives and much more. But let's go ahead and show you the final product. LEGO Droid Base that I did in 7 days with the main droid Hager down here, the large spider droid in the middle with a bunch of infantry, as well as the main battle scene. I had to include a battle scene in this mock with the droid forces going through these spires here. We got our CAC droids in formation right here, looking super sweet in running position, going all the way through, attacking some of the clone forces. It's a little bit of a clone force just because it's mainly a droid base here on Geonosis. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this and more Geonosis mocks coming soon.